Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Wake Up Wednesdays. So, wake up. These Wake Up Wednesdays are an opportunity for us to reinvigorate one another so that if our plan isn't going according to plan in the beginning of the week and Monday and Tuesday, that's okay. We still have today and the rest of the week, Thursday, Friday, to get back to plan. And don't worry about Fridays. Once again, you're going to use Fridays to take the minimal amount of meetings and get yourself organized so you can hit the ground running the following Monday and use that Friday to schedule yourself for success the following Monday, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., whenever you start your day. So, just a special message today. I want to say happy holidays to everybody. I hope you take this time to reinvigorate yourselves, to spend time with your loved ones, to take some well-deserved time off, vacation, to really just use this time to slowly start to unwind, rest, and digest so that come the first business day of January, we can hit the ground running. And if you've been following all the meetings we've been talking about in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, then you'll already have your plan and everything put in place so that you can execute against that plan in January. So you use this time now to allow yourself and your staff and your employees to rest and digest for the holidays. So happy holidays, everyone. Today, I want to talk to you about the prioritization process and more specifically, how to handle one-offs in the prioritization process or objective handling in the prioritization process. And the reason why I wanted to talk to you guys about that today is because I was working with a new team this week and they were unfamiliar with some of the structures I've put in place in the past. And because they really didn't have any type of structure, they didn't know what to do when new priorities would come in, or they were working on something and it wasn't clear what they were working on, and a new thing came in, and it was just because they were always so jumbled, they never really had a chance to get a single thing done. So just as a reminder, before we go into how to handle one-offs in the prioritization process and objective handling as it pertains to the prioritization process, just a reminder on what the simple structure looks like. And if you watch some of my other videos, I go into detail on that structure. Or if you want help setting that up, I can walk you through how to set up these structures. Please feel free to reach out to me privately, and I'd be more than happy to do that or send you some templates that I've been using for years. So typically, when you're working on rolling out a product or you're working as part of a large-scale project or program, once again, as a reminder, before we go into handling one-offs or the objective handling for prioritization, you need to make sure that you have a couple of key things in place. First and foremost, the vision of where you're going to go and where you are needs to have already been put in place. The vision statement, mission statement, statement of purpose needs to have already been put in place. The inner circle, which you might call your executive steering committee, you might call it your product cabinet, you might call it your stakeholders, but your inner circle are all of your key people that have invested or that are having a key stake in the outcomes of the program or the product. You need that inner circle put in place. The initiatives or deliverables, which are set at a quarterly or a monthly level, so the big goals need to have already been put in place by quarter or by month. And then the time box goals need to be scheduled a couple time boxes out. So if you're doing a typical or traditional sprint structure and your sprints are anywhere between a week to 3 weeks or 2 weeks, typically you have goals for those sprints scheduled a couple sprints out, 2 to 3 sprints out. So without those 5 things in place and clearly defined, it's going to be very difficult to handle one-offs in your prioritization process, to handle objections in your prioritization process, and what I'm about to walk you through. So you need those 5 things put in place. If you don't have those 5 things put in place, once again, please feel free to reach out to me. I can walk you through or watch any of the other videos where I've talked about how to set those things up. They're very, very important to make sure that the successful product launch or the successful program is delivered. The program is delivered successfully. So one-offs and objections. So you have these things in place, and a stakeholder comes to you, a key person in your product launch or a key person in your program or project comes to you, and they say, we have this new thing and we need to work on it now. And maybe it's because something broke. Maybe it's because something was missed. Maybe it's because they were scheduling to do this later on, but then for whatever reason changed their mind, said they wanted to do it now, or something else. If it's not one of those three things and it's or something else, ask why. Hey, can you help me understand why we're going to work on this now? Once again, if it's not because something broke, if it's not because it was already scheduled, but they want to do it sooner to deliver value earlier, you want to understand why. Once you understand why, you say, okay, no problem. We have this current list that we're working on right now. This list is what's currently in sprint, what's currently in flight. These are the things that are working towards these quarterly initiatives, these monthly deliverables. Let's pull our inner circle together so we can talk about this new thing and we can create a priority. So now you have your inner circle together. Your inner circle might be this key stakeholder. It's definitely going to be you, and it's going to be someone from your technology or your configuration, your build organization. It's going to be someone from your product organization or your design organization, from your operations or your COO organization. So very basically, it's your CTO, your CPO, and your COO, or someone from their organization coming together with the stakeholder to determine the priority in a very logical, data-driven way. And what that's going to look like is this. Okay, this new thing we're going to work on. So here's the list of what we're currently working on. Here's the list of what we want to work on. On this list, these are the items on top that are in flight. These are the items we're going to work on next. Okay, so you have these things listed in priority order, what's being worked on now versus what's next to be worked on. Now you have this new thing. You talk about the new thing. You talk about what it is. What's the value, right? Everyone gets a chance to go around the table and talk about this thing. Everyone gets to understand why we're introducing this new thing now, why it wasn't introduced previously, why it's not going to be introduced later. So now everyone's on the same page about what this new thing is and why we're bringing it to the table now. Then what you do is a very simple process. So you say, okay, guys, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the greatest, 1 being the least, from a timing perspective, how long do we think this will take to deliver? 5 being the most amount of time, 1 being the least amount of time. From a cost or a budgeting perspective, how much do we think this is going to cost us in terms of labor and non-labor? 5 being the most, 1 being the least. From an impact or value perspective, do we think this is going to deliver the most value, 5, or the least value, 1? And last but not least, from a prioritization process, do we think this is the highest priority 5 or least priority 1? So once again, those 4 things are: how long is it going to take? How much is it going to cost? What's the impact or the value? And what's the priority? You're going to take all 4 of those things, scale of 1 to 5, and you're going to take the average of those things. Once you determine the average, you put that average in the list and you work on it. Anything that is below that average gets put below, and that gets put on top. And that's very simply how you handle one-offs or objections in the prioritization process so that you can keep the ball rolling. I hope this helps, guys. It certainly helps me. And once again, happy holidays. If you have any questions on how to set that up, please feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. I'd be more than happy to set that up with you. All right, thanks, and let's talk again soon.